He always called me TRU, like it was more than a name, like it was a promise. And I believed him. Every morning, I'd wake up next to Cal, thinking we'd beaten the odds. Love like ours didn't just happen. It chose you. It was steady. Real. A touch on the lower back while passing in the kitchen, a knowing smile across the room, an entire language built in glances. He used to make coffee just the way I liked it, 3 sugars, no cream. He remembered every small thing about me. That's how I knew it was love. Or thought I knew. We met in a bookstore. He handed me a book I had already read, and I lied and said I hadn't, just to keep him talking. He told me he didn't believe in coincidences. Some people were just supposed to cross, he said. That night, he walked me home, and though we barely touched, something passed between us. A charge. That first touch wasn't skin, it was certainty. Our apartment was filled with relics of us. The kind of clutter that comes from 2 people merging lives. Mixed spices, half-read novels, Polaroids taped on the fridge. On weekends, we made playlists and played card games. Cal would hum to old jazz records, and I'd watch him from the couch, thinking, this is it. This is what it means to arrive. The kind of quiet that wraps around you, like breath on glass. It was never fireworks with Cal, it was warmth. Safety. A kind of safety that makes you ignore the creaks in the walls. But every story has its foreshadowing. The first time I noticed something, it was nothing. His phone buzzed at 1:13 a.m. while he was in the shower. I didn't touch it, just stared at the screen as it lit up again. No name, just a heart emoji. The next day, he wore cologne I didn't recognize. Said it was a gift from a client. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? Love like ours didn't break. It bent. Adjusted. Held on. He started leaving earlier in the mornings. I'd wake to the scent of fresh coffee, but know him. A note on the counter. Back late, big project. And still, I smiled. Still, I cleaned his mug, texted him reminders, folded his laundry with the same old tenderness. Because when you trust someone, truly trust them, you don't look for cracks, you paint over them. Our friends called us the couple. We were always together, always in sync. He'd finish my sentences. I'd know what he wanted to eat before he said it. At dinner parties, people watched us with a kind of envy, and I'd bask in it, thinking how rare this was. How lucky I was. I thought we were forever. I thought nothing could touch us. But forever isn't real. It's just a word. Like promise. Like truth. Like love, when it's said by someone whose hands are already holding something else. His phone lit up again. This time I looked. Just a touch, just a swipe, and everything changed. The message was short. Last night, unforgettable kiss mark. No name, just implication. I stared at it, heart silent. I didn't feel anger. Not then. Just silence. Like my body knew before my mind caught up. I put the phone down where I found it. I didn't breathe a word. Just watched. That morning, he kissed my cheek on his way out. I nodded, eyes on the coffee maker. My hands moved on autopilot. His scent lingered long after the door clicked shut. It wasn't the same scent. It was stronger. Sharper. And not for me. I began paying attention. To patterns. To pauses. The way he smiled at his phone. The sudden gym visits. New clothes. Unexplained meetings. He shaved before dinner now, something he never used to do unless we had guests. I asked him once, casually. He said he just felt like switching things up. I smiled. And didn't believe him. I kept everything to myself. No friends. No diary. Just the buzzing question in my head. Was this it? Was this how love ended? Not with a bang, but with quiet details? One evening, I followed him. No plan. Just instinct. He left around 6, said he was heading to a team dinner. I waited 5 minutes, then slipped out. I trailed behind just far enough, trying not to think about what I'd do if he caught me. He walked with purpose. No hesitation. At one point, he looked over his shoulder. I ducked into a shop and pretended to scroll through perfumes I couldn't name. He disappeared inside a corner cafe. I waited. 10 minutes. 15. Then she appeared. Blonde, in a red coat. Familiar. From a party months ago.
Al.
He introduced her as someone from work. She hugged him like she wasn't afraid of being seen. He didn't stop her. I didn't go inside. I didn't need to. I turned around and walked back home. My hands shook the whole way. Still, I said nothing. Silence again. I couldn't yet imagine what the words would sound like if I said them out loud. The next day, I did laundry. That's when I found it. A white dress shirt, crumpled at the bottom of his gym bag. I was almost done folding when I saw it just under the collar. A faint red smear. Lipstick. Not mine. I don't wear red. I held the shirt close and breathed in.
Perfume.
Not mine either. That night, I sat across from him at dinner, nodding at stories I didn't hear, laughing at jokes I didn't process.
He reached for my hand.
I let him take it. His grip was warm, firm, familiar, and fake. There are betrayals that scream. And then there are betrayals that whisper so softly, you almost thank them for being gentle. Almost. I found the second phone in his car, wedged under the seat like something half forgotten or half hidden. No passcode. Just open access, like he never thought I'd look. Or maybe like he wanted to be caught. The messages were all there.
Al.
Long threads. Photos. Voice notes.
Plans.
One of them said, "You make me feel new again." Another said, "She suspects nothing." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just scrolled, reading the undoing of everything we'd built, line by line, like a story I didn't ask to be written. He came home that night like nothing had happened, told me about his day, asked if I wanted takeout. I said yes. Numb doesn't feel like nothing. It feels like too much, packed into skin that can't hold it. I watched him talk, watched his mouth move, and all I could think was how easily that same mouth lied. The next morning, I put the phone on the kitchen counter, screen up. He saw it as he reached for his keys. For a second, he didn't move. Then slowly, he looked at me. "It's not what you think," he said. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. My silence was louder than anything I could have screamed. He tried to explain. Said it was a moment. A lapse. That it didn't matter. That it was just a touch. One night. Maybe two. I asked him how many nights it takes to rewrite years. He said nothing. I asked him if he loved her. He paused. That was my answer. There was no fight. No broken glass. No accusations flying like knives. Just air. Heavy and thick. I asked him if he remembered what he said to me when we met. About people being meant to cross. He looked away. I didn't ask why. I didn't want to know what part of me wasn't enough. I didn't need to hear him list all the ways he still loved me while proving he didn't. I've learned that real betrayal doesn't always come with hate. Sometimes it wears the same face that once swore to protect you. I left the room and came back with the ring. I placed it next to his untouched coffee. He didn't move. I said, "This doesn't belong here anymore." He tried to reach for me. I stepped back. No tears. Just distance. As I packed my bag, I realized I didn't feel broken. I felt hollow. And there's a difference. Broken things can be fixed. Hollow things echo. He stood in the doorway, like he thought he still had a say. I didn't give him one. I walked past him without looking back. Not because I didn't care, but because I did. Too much. For too long. He whispered my name as I opened the door.
True. Like that meant something.
Like I was still his. But trust, once cracked, doesn't heal. It splinters.
Quietly. Permanently.
And some touches, once felt, can't be unfelt. It's been 3 months. Time doesn't heal, it just moves. People say healing is a straight line, but it's more like a loop. Some days I feel fine. Other days, I feel everything all at once. I moved into a smaller place. It's quiet.
Clean.
The kind of space where nothing lingers unless I let it. I picked white curtains. New mugs. I threw out the old toothbrushes. I didn't want reminders pretending to be necessities. I found our memory box last week. The one we filled with postcards and ticket stubs and dried flowers from anniversaries. I opened it, stared at the pieces, and waited for the hurt to come. It didn't hit like it used to. It was softer. Sad, but not sharp. I didn't burn them. I didn't cry. I just put the lid back on. Some things don't need to be destroyed. Just stored away. He messaged last night. Said he still thinks about us. Said he wonders if I could ever forgive him. I didn't reply. There was nothing to say. Not because I hate him. I don't. Hate requires energy. And he's not worth the wait anymore. I've been learning how to be alone again. How to eat dinner without setting 2 plates. How to sleep without reaching for someone who isn't there. I thought I'd feel empty. But there's peace in solitude. It's quieter.
Real.
Uncomplicated. I don't need to decode smiles or track shifting routines. My silence now belongs to me, not to suspicion. I went to the bookstore last week. The same one where we met. I walked past the aisle where he handed me that book. I paused for a second, then kept walking. I didn't feel nostalgic. I felt free. I bought a new book, one I actually hadn't read. Funny how honesty feels heavier now than lies ever did. People ask if I'll date again. I don't know. I'm not scared of love. I'm scared of the version of myself I became when I lost it. I'm scared of ignoring red flags because I want to believe in someone more than I believe in my own gut. I won't do that again. That's not strength. That's surrender. I started writing again. Just fragments. Observations. Words I never said aloud.
It helps.
Words always help. They're the only things that never cheated on me. Some mornings, I still wake up reaching for the shape of a life that's gone. But I get up. I shower. I make my coffee the way I like it. No sugar now. Just black. Bitter.
Honest.
If he ever sees me again, I hope he understands something. What he broke wasn't just love, it was belief. And that takes longer to rebuild than a heart. I'm not healed, but I'm not his anymore. Some touches mark beginnings. Others leave bruises. And some, the most painful ones, teach you where never to let anyone reach again.